video, I've decided that we want to kind of show you what a glimpse of one of our active recovery days looks like. So typically I'm very busy between CrossFit Polaris, between training for the games, between some of the online stuff we do, and many more things, being an aunt, lots of cool things. So I try to use my time, and Pat and I do that as efficiently as possible. So my sweet potatoes are something that I prep regularly. So I typically prep foods on Sunday and on Thursday because Pat and I eat a lot and we go through a lot of food throughout the week. And those are the best days for me to do it. So for my sweet potatoes today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash them, poke them, and pop them into my air fryer. And it's gonna take about 45 to 50 minutes. While that's going on, either I'll prep my other food, which is some squash, some onions, some mushrooms, red lentil pasta, rice, the things that are just staples in our household. Or a lot of times I'll use it as my time to stretch because I get a nice 40 to 50 minute window where I can just spend time working on my body until my air fryer beeps. And so that's the routine that I'm gonna take you guys through today. We're gonna do a little bit of Graston on my back because I've been training pretty hard and it's feeling a little bit lit up. So Pat will show you what he does there. And then I'm gonna take it into my lower body stretch routine. So I'm excited to share this stuff with you guys. I'm excited to share a little bit about my food prep and take you along today. All right, so for my sweet potatoes, I've tried lots of different ways to cook them. I cook them in the Instant Pot, I've cooked them in the oven, and now I got this awesome air fryer, and this is my new favorite kitchen appliance. If you don't have one, you should definitely get one. We got ours from Costco, and it's a 10-quart new wave air fryer, and we love it. So what I did is I set the heat up to 395 degrees, and I set the time for 55 minutes. Sometimes I feel like the longer you cook sweet potatoes, the better. You obviously don't want to burn them or crisp them, but they kind of tend to get softer and more flavorful and more delicious if you cook them closer to that hour range mark. So now that it's preheated, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it, and I've got this little piece of foil. So this is the best trick ever. Pat's dad actually taught me this. I'm just gonna cover the basket with foil. That way I have less cleaning to do after the sweet potatoes have cooked. So I'm covering my basket. And then I've already washed and poked my sweet potatoes. I know some people say you don't need to poke them, but I like to poke them. So I washed and I've poked them. And then I'm just gonna set them into the basket, make sure they don't overlap. And that's all the prep work that goes into it. So now I'm gonna close the lid, hit start on my time, and now it's time for me to go outside, relax, enjoy, breathe, and stretch. All right, so while my sweet potatoes are cooking, I am just going to breathe, relax, decompress, and work on mobilizing and loosening up my body, and especially any areas that have been feeling tight lately, and also hang out with my dog. So Milo may join us here and there with his ball, and I'll probably throw it if he brings it. But the first thing that I decided to work on today is I've been doing a lot of squatting, I've been doing a lot of D-balls, heavy dumbbells, so my lower back is feeling really tight. So usually I'll do a daily flow from GoWOD, but today I decided to do a specific flow, and I think that's really cool. So in their app, you can hit your daily WOD or stretching, and you can decide if you just want to do the daily protocol, which is going to be more full body, or you can target a specific area. So I've chosen to target my lower back today and just see if I can get a little extra relief with that. So the first thing, I'm going to just hit play. It's going to be 2 minutes per side. They call it the break dancer, but what you're going to do is just pull one leg into the side, and then I want to rotate my torso, and I'm just going to reach for my toe. I can barely get there right now. That's how tight I am. By the end, I'll be feeling a lot better. And just focus on breathing and just enjoying the beautiful day and hanging out with my pup on our patio. All right, once my 2 minutes are up, I'm gonna go to my next stretch, which today is gonna be the night. So this is a really awesome hip flexor. I'm gonna go into a wider lunge. This is one of my favorite hip flexor stretches. I'm gonna pull my belly button in towards my spine, keep my chest tall, and then I'm trying to sink. Look, I'm not going anywhere. That means I need to do this. Oh, there's Milo. I'm trying to sink forward to get my knee out over my toe, feeling a nice good stretch through my quad, through my hip flexor, and keeping my torso tall. In this position, I'm gonna hold 1 minute per side. Once my 1 minute per side is over, then I'm gonna hit next, and my next one is gonna be a standing forward bend. I love this stretch. So from here, I'm just gonna have my feet under my hips, and I'm just gonna roll down, and I'm gonna let my back round, which we don't wanna do when we're squatting and deadlifting, but for stretching, it's gonna help me decompress. So I'm just gonna roll down, tuck my chin, and I like to grab my elbows. I'm gonna hang out here for about 30 seconds, and then in the second 30 seconds, I like to start to rock my elbows side to side and just get a little deeper into the sides of my back. All right, after the forward fold, the next one is one of my all-time favorites. Again, this one is gonna require us to keep our chest tall. It's a really good substitute for a pigeon stretch as well. So I'm just gonna start with my legs out, and then I'm gonna hug one knee into my chest. And I wanna make sure I get a slight rotation of my upper body, keeping it nice and tall as I hug my knee into the chest. I'm gonna feel that all through my glute and my piriformis, and maybe even stretch out, which you don't really stretch your IT band, but it just feels nice up the side of your leg. And breathing. So sometimes things that I've learned is some of my lower back pain actually will come from when my glute med and my glutes are really, really tight and it pulls on my lower back. So I like to make sure I'm always working my piriformis and I'm always working my glutes, and that helps protect and keep my lower back feeling nice and fresh and feeling good throughout all of my workouts. So I'm holding 2 minutes per side in this stretch, and I'm trying to breathe into it. And I think for me, it's important to remember that this is just as important, if not more important, than training. If we're not taking care of our body, we're not going to be able to do what we want to do in the gym. And it's that final 1%. We're all working hard. Everyone is striving to be better. Everyone's putting in the work in the gym, but it's also who's doing the other, however, 20 hours outside of the gym. So maybe we're spending 3 to 4 hours training for the CrossFit Games right now, maybe even more some days. But then it's like, okay, what am I doing those other hours? Am I drinking enough water? So I always carry a shaker bottle around with me. I like crushed ice. Am I sleeping enough? Am I mobilizing? Am I stretching? And am I taking care of my soft tissue? Am I eating well? And those things all go into our performance and how we do as the season goes on, how we compete, how we feel, and how we're able to improve and get better with that final 1%. So this stuff is super, super important, and I have to make sure I make time for it, just like I make time for any training session. The last stretch that I'm gonna do is similar to a butterfly, and I'm gonna tuck my chin, and I literally, when I'm as tight as I am today, I feel this go all the way down to my tailbone. I'm gonna spend 2 minutes in this position. So I'm gonna bring my soles of my feet together. From here, I'm gonna loop my arms from the inside out. First, I'm gonna hit my start button, and then I'm gonna tuck my chin and try to touch the top of my head towards the soles of my feet. I'm just gonna hang out in this position for 2 minutes, continuing to try to tuck my chin. It's uncomfortable, but I'm just gonna use my breath to try to let the fascia in my lower back just continue to release. Now that I'm done stretching, I'm gonna grab Pat, and he's gonna help me with a little bit of Graston. So I always like to stretch, and then I like to use these tools throughout the week. So I actually have 2 here. I'm gonna let him choose what he wants to use on my lower back. Either of them would work. They are from Sidekick Tool, which is a company that I love. We'll drop the link in the bio, and I actually have a code that you guys could use if you want to check it out. And they have tons of information on the website on how you can do this to yourself and educating you. Graston is super awesome because what it's gonna do is we get adhesions under our muscle tissue. So it's going to help us release those adhesions. It's almost like your tissue can become bound up like a railroad track. And we want our tissue to be nice and smooth and slide and glide. When we overuse our muscles or we get injury or we're constantly training them, that's when those adhesions build up. So by using one of these Graston tools, we're just gonna scrape lightly, and that's gonna improve our blood flow and bring fresh blood flow to the area so our muscles can heal each other and we can flush out those adhesions, helping our joints and our muscles feel lighter, maybe smoother, and just kind of like they're looser and sliding and gliding better. So we're gonna work on that on my lower back today just to help aid in some fresh blood flow and continued recovery.
All right, so first things first, this is some muscle warming balm, and also just create some lubrication because this would be probably really uncomfortable to do without something if you were just to use it on the dry skin. So I'm gonna take some of this first. It also smells pretty good. Kind of give us a little bit of lubrication here. And I believe that this particular tool is called the Eclipse, which I like because I can kind of actually put my hand in it and use it like a handle. And gives me some pretty good leverage. So I'm gonna start by kind of taking some long strokes here and warming up the muscle. And as it gets warm, I'll start shortening and just working my way up and down. It will get red, and that's totally okay. And spots that are kind of problem areas typically tend to get more red. So it's kind of a sign that you're in the right spot.
For pressure, so when he starts, he's not applying a whole lot of pressure, and it's very light. And it's funny because as soon as he touches it, I can feel my back kind of like, ooh, it doesn't want it to happen. And then as he continues to work through, I can feel my back already starting to let go, which is allowing him to apply more pressure as he starts to dig in a little bit deeper. And this is one of my favorite ways to recover. It's something that I can do. I used to do it right when I started CrossFit with a butter knife and olive oil on my wrist, because I'd had it done at the chiropractor, but sometimes going to a chiropractor over and over could be so expensive. So investing in a tool yourself is super helpful, it's super beneficial, and it's cost effective, and it can help keep you healthy as well. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This week, I'm going to be spending my time prepping and preparing mentally and physically for the Rogue Invitational. This is the first online competition like it, so there's lots of cool things happening, and if you want to see all things behind the scenes leading up to it and during the weekend, make sure to like and subscribe and tune in, or not like, because that's not going to help you, but subscribe and tune into all of our videos, because we will be bringing you all of the thoughts about the workouts once we hear when they're released. We'll be bringing you immediate behind the scenes thoughts and footage from what's happening for this online competition, and we're super excited about it. In the meantime, I'm gonna spend the week making sure I'm drinking tons of water, making sure I'm eating well, getting enough sleep. Training volume will decrease slightly, but intensity will stay high, so I'm ready to hit the workouts hard this weekend. It's gonna be a really interesting experience because the workouts will be broadcasted live, but I can't see anybody. So I'm gonna be in the gym doing them by myself, hoping that I'm somewhat close or doing well as if I was on the competition floor with my other competitors, but I won't be able to see them. The people around me won't be able to see them unless they're watching the live broadcast and calling it out while I'm doing it. So it's just gonna be a really unique competition that I'm really looking forward to being part of because it's the first one like it. So I know there's online competitions in the past, but this one's just completely different because we will be live across the world, whatever time zone you're in a heat. So make sure definitely to follow us along with that. It's gonna be super awesome and exciting. And then in the comments, if you guys liked learning about the Sidekick tool and you liked learning about Graston, we could do a more in-depth video on this if you'd like to see that. If you'd like to see some of the other stuff I prep weekly that are staples in the O'Connell household, we'd love to bring you those as well. So make sure to comment below on stuff you guys are looking forward to seeing, and we'll make sure to get those videos dropped for you. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay well, and take care of your bodies.